I'm being joined at this point by Tehseen Poonawalla. He'll be joining us shortly. I'm also being joined by Navika Harshe, who's a spokesperson for Congress, and Aruna Mukim, who's a former CBFC member. Thank you very much. I believe I'm being joined by Navika Harshe at this point. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Ms. Navika, my first question, what happened? Big Daddy is watching is what many are saying.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm so glad that I could be here today. I think the main point is that the Telangana government has always had a zero tolerance policies towards drugs. I think in the recent years, we've made it very clear that we will not tolerate any form of drug abuse in the state. And I think when you look at it, it makes complete sense. You can't have songs in the state promoting drug use and at the same, which is an illegal activity, which is illegal everywhere in the country, and then stop, and then have the state allow this to happen. Because at one level, what are we saying? That you can't do drugs, but you can listen to songs which encourage you for doing drugs. There's a contradiction there. And I think as the state government, we believe that this contradiction doesn't make sense. And this is the space where we have to make our stance clear about a zero drug policy in the state. And violence, I think this is something which we have all been talking about for years.
So there is one about drugs. There's one about drugs. No, yeah. Allow me something. Here, Ms. Navika Harshe, you are saying it's a zero policy about drugs. There's violence and there's alcohol also being said. There's also about children. There should not be strong flashlights and that children should be kept away from them to control loud sounds and so on and so forth. While you have said the government is very clear about all of this, can I just ask you one question directly? In fact, I wanted to bring this on a little later. If this really is your stand, what's happened to Telugu movies? We never saw these stands when it came to Telugu movies. We've had worse in Telugu movies.
No, I think now we're going to take a stance on this. We must realize that our government has only been here for a year. And if you remember recently, there was the incident at the farmhouse of KCR's relative, and we took that up. I mean, we didn't care that he was politically connected. We have been taking stances about drugs, and we have been making a noise about it. And I'm sure we'll also address other issues.
This isn't only about drugs. This isn't only about drugs. This isn't only about drugs. Tehseen Poonawalla, do you want to come in? There are a lot more questions, but Tehseen, I will allow you to respond to this. How do you look at them? They are saying, the Congress is saying, listen, we are going to take a very strong stand on this henceforth. And therefore, we have made a very stand clear on this.
Thank you, Sneha, for having me on the show. And as you all know, and all your viewers know, and we put this out, I'm a Congress voter, an absolute Congress supporter, and I completely defend the Congress. But I'm astounded. The Congress is behaving like the RSS. What is the Congress up to? Does the government in Telangana have no other work than to censor artists? I mean, the one thing I stand up against is censorship. Telugu movies show violence. They show rapes. They show attempted rapes. They show policemen being beaten up. They show policemen picking up criminals in jail. So are we going to censor everything? Where do we censor? Where do we draw the line on censoring? How is it the state government's right to censor? Once something's out on public domain, which is whatever the regulatory bodies have cleared it, how can you stop somebody from performing? I can understand the regulation with regards to kids above 13 not being allowed on stage. That's fair. That is a right regulation. I congratulate on that. That should happen. But the rest of it, I mean, he's an artist. There are going to be lights. There are going to be high sound. So you said, okay, parents should, parents should have the sense not to get their kids in there. You could perhaps even have regulations that kids below the age of 13 are not allowed. You could perhaps put in that regulation there or that caveat, but you can't stop his songs not going on air. And I remember this, my friend Ikta, she was making a movie and there was a song in this, Char bottle vodka, ka mera roska. And then the censor board chief wanted to just censor the word vodka. And there's a huge hue and cry. And it's ridiculous. I don't take drugs, I don't drink, I don't smoke. But if there's something that's a song, it's a hit, people are performing it, it's available on the YouTube, it's available on social media, it's available on cassette, CDs, audio, whatever you have. Why is the state government intervening? The state government has a lot of work to do. Foremost amongst that is to make sure KCR, KTR and the BJP don't come back to power. Can they focus on that than focusing on these issues? But I don't think this is a chief minister. I think this is some bureaucrat. And I'm honestly saying the Congress should not stand up for bureaucrats. Put these bureaucrats in place. Stop being socialist. It doesn't do the Congress good.
Okay. I know I have Aruna Mukim who's waiting for us, but very quickly, Navika Harsha, you have a response to give. You have a right to respond. Listen, you got one complaint from Chandigarh. Look at the tickets that have been sold out across. Nobody else has complained. Dosanjh is not going door to door and telling people, come and listen to me. Whether you say you're going to perform or not, there are people who are listening to him anyway. What is this duplicity?
I think our problem is more with the romanticization of violence and drugs. Like if actually the song that Tehseen referred to, the Char Botal Vodka, it doesn't romanticize drinking vodka. After a while, it is like Suni Suni Aankhein Meri. Have you heard the lyrics? It's like I'm basically the next day. But I'm not defending that song. I'm only saying that we have a problem with this romanticization of violence and drug use. And as the state government, you can't, prevent people from, at one level,
which song of Dosanjh do you think has he romanticized violence or drug abuse? I mean, there may be references to even alcohol. I know of some songs of that. And I mean, I would like to know which songs he romanticized. Well, when it comes to violence, when it comes to what all were the words used, drug abuse and alcohol consumption. These are very thin lines, and Tehseen is saying you're doing nothing short of what the RSS has propagated all this while.
I don't think we're doing what the RSS is doing, and that to the point of even like having children at the stage. We need to have some regulations because you can't have children in all places, especially where there are loud sounds and music and lights and things like that. It is an unsafe environment.
Navika Harshe, these songs are being heard worldwide, if I can use that word, because quite honestly, political barriers, geographical barriers hold no good in today's times. They're being heard all over. He's not launching a new song in Hyderabad. It's being consumed all over. Those who love Dosanjh love it. Those who love music love it. Those who hate such music also will listen to it. My point is, what are you trying to do here?